Have you ever been so bored that you wanted to figure out if cockroaches can be magnetized? Or maybe did you want to figure out what belly button fluff is made of? How about floating a frog with a magnet? Well, if that sounds like you, then you might be up for an Ig Nobel Prize one day. Scientists are human, and believe it or not, sometimes a unique and interesting perspective is needed to move humanity forward. And that's what these prizes are all about. Ever wondered why discus throwers get dizzy but hammer throwers don't? Neither, but that's probably because I don't think about track and field events too often. However, the authors of this paper set out to find out why. And what they did is they looked at the mechanics of both sports and found that whilst there were similarities, there are also differences. Who would have known? And those mechanical differences were responsible for the dizziness or lack thereof. For this prize, these physicists developed, and I quote, a general continuum theory for the distribution of hairs in a bundle. Yes, that's right, they developed a theory for the physics of the human ponytail. They developed a model that took into account all the forces acting on a ponytail. They even reached, in their own words, a remarkably simple equation to describe it all. Who would have known? A working model for the human ponytail. Have you ever thought that it would be cool if people could run across the top of water? Me too, and you're in luck because these physicists did exactly that and showed that some people could actually run across the surface of water, as long as said people were on the moon. Like any good scientist, Minetti et al. Didn't just do some maths, but they put their theory to the test. And they did it by producing what is known as a simulated reduced gravity environment. And they did that by simply using a harness and generating what is probably one of my favourite scientific figures of all time. I mean, look at that. Just glorious. If you've ever watched cartoons or played Mario Kart, then you know that banana skins are slippery. But have you ever pondered what the friction coefficient is? Me too! And now you can rest easy because according to the winners of the 2014 Ig Nobel Prize, we have an answer, and it's about 0.07. At least I can sleep well tonight. Apparently, all mammals urinate for 21 plus or minus 13 seconds. Yeah, I didn't need to know that either. Yang et al. Measured the urination rates for many different animals and showed that fluid dynamics dictates that size does not change duration, i.e., big animals urinate for just as long as small animals, proving that, at least in this case, size doesn't matter. Well, how did they measure this? High-speed videography, of course. Well, I guess Rule 34. A big year for animal science breakthroughs. But a bit sneaky, as there's actually two studies that won this prize. The first was showing that white horses are more horsefly-proof. Apparently, it has to do with the polarization of their coats. I know, how did we live before this? The second study was about dragonflies being fatally attracted to black tombstones. Apparently, they would land, set up shop, and never move. The authors concluded that they confused the tombstones for a body of water. I mean, I don't know what to do with this information. Paint things white? I'm confused. Next. Marc-Antoine Fardin won this year's prize for his paper titled On the Rheology of Cats. By the way, rheology refers to fluid dynamics. Yes, that's right. Fardin set out to answer the age-old question of, are cats both liquid and solid? The question was not answered in this paper though, to both mine and I'm sure your disappointment. However, I know I've already made mention of one of my favourite figures in a science publication, but I think I have a new one, or ones. Have you ever seen such amazing scientific figures before? I know, who would have known watching cat videos counted as research? Sad times. There doesn't appear to be a physics prize for this year. I will instead try and console you with my two favourite picks from other categories that year. The first was for proving that roller coasters hasten the passing of kidney stones, giving people yet another reason to scream on roller coasters. The second, I'll just read the title for you. Colonoscopy in the sitting position. Lessons learned from self-colonoscopy. As the old adage goes, find a job you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. Before we move to the last two prizes, if you've had half as much fun watching as I did making this video, then don't forget the sub button below so you can learn more science facts that you never thought you needed. The physics prize for this year went to a multinational team for figuring out why wombats have square fecal matter. As an Aussie, I guess it's not too surprising that I was aware of this fact before, but now I know why. But why? Apparently, it is due to how the intestine walls stretch preferentially to favour cubic shapes. One rather disturbing line from the paper was, by emptying the intestine and inflating it with a long balloon, we found... Actually, you know what? Let's just leave it there. Let's move on. If you want to hear my full explanation for this one, and continue laughing at when scientists get bored, then check out Navadia's video, where she covers all of this year's prizes. But, spoiler alert, it's about putting worms on a subwoofer. If you've enjoyed this video, then maybe you want to learn if submarines fly. Or you can check out this good pick. Either way, remember, I'm almost a doctor, and until next time, be like a proton, stay positive.